who gives a shit? Like, who gives a shit about the lesbian scene? Obviously, Saudi Arabians do.
Do.
But also, okay, if they want Western cinema, if they want movies from us, well, then they need to accept them for what they are, and they can't demand censorship from us. Something. Oh man, I'm really interested in this. Disney, I'm on their side for a hot second.
I was about to say, what have they done this time?
Well, Saudi Arabia received a big old fat middle finger from Disney after telling Disney that they needed to cut a lesbian reference out of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
A reference, not a scene, it's just a reference?
Yeah, I guess it's just a reference. It's just like a, lesbian, hey, we're lesbians or something like that. And Saudi Arabia was like, no. And Disney was like, yes. So, and that brings me to like, how much money can Disney honestly be losing from one country? They're going to be showing this in how many different countries? I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm assuming a metric fuck ton of countries. Yeah. Like, how much are they actually going to lose by doing this? Like, if they were to cut this scene, and then who gives a shit? Like, who gives a shit about the lesbian scene? Obviously, Saudi Arabians do. But also, okay, if they want Western cinema, if they want movies from us, well, then they need to accept them for what they are, and they can't demand censorship from us. If we don't have that censorship, why the fuck are we placating to other countries who want to censor our art?
I think it's been a few years now that this, not only Disney, a lot of movie studios are looking with big eyes at China as an example, because it's a huge, immense market with a lot of people that can, and they've been tweaking and changing the way they're doing movies now to appeal to people in these countries, because they know they're probably gonna get more people watching their movie in China than they're gonna be in the USA.
How much is it appealing to the people and just appealing to their governments who want to say, no, gays are bad. Gays are very bad.
Isn't it that if they don't cut the scene, the government will just not allow the movie to be shown at all?
Yeah, and then they don't make money in those countries. But I don't know. I mean, you got to think that those companies that are going to be showing movies in those countries are also going to be losing a shit ton of money because of the fact that they're not showing this giant movie. So I don't know. I think it's a tough call, but I'm still behind Disney on the fact of they're just like they're not dealing with it. It's like, no, it's staying in. That was what was in here, and we're not placating to you.
I'm actually very impressed with this news. We have heard so many news lately and last years of Disney and other companies doing exactly the opposite, but just caving to demands of foreign countries in order to have their product shown to their audience. So, well, this is I'm gonna read more on this because this is a big news to me. I'm very impressed.
I never realized it, but like The Force Awakens, they cut Finn completely off the cover for the Chinese release.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And I'm like, nah, fuck that. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Go Disney. I'm behind you on something for a change.
For once.
Yeah.
For once.
Speaking of Disney, this next bit of news, I actually think all three of these have to deal with some sort of Disney-esque thing. So I'm having a Disney day, apparently.
A DD.
A DD, yeah. I don't know if you heard, so we talked about this in the past, about Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
How there's a lot of hate going on for him, and they're trying to cancel him because, he is a part of what people are saying is a anti-LGBTQ church. Well, James Gunn just came out with a comment on that because people were calling for him to recast Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy. And I do want to read his response out.
Go ahead.
First off, I just want to say that he offers a rebuttal to all the fans trying to cancel Chris Pratt, and it boils down to a giant get fucked.
Isn't he a bit biased because he was the first one to be canceled out of this, and he got
Maybe.
thrown away, and they just brought him back? But maybe he's.
Yeah. It's.
I didn't
maybe.
even hear the quote. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm
All
interrupting you before even the quote happens.
All right. So the quote: "For what? Because of your made-up, utterly false beliefs about him?
Oh.
For something that someone else told you about him that's not true? Chris Pratt would never be replaced as Star-Lord, but if he ever was, we would all be going with him. I know the church he currently goes to. Do you? The answer is you don't, but you heard from someone who heard from someone who heard from someone where he goes to church. So decided, yeah, okay, I'll believe this terrible thing I heard online about a celebrity." You know, and I will admit, like we talked about this, like I'm guilty of that thought as well. Like I read those, like, yeah, he's part of this anti-LGBTQ thing. Like that's not my Chris Pratt anymore. Like I don't care for him. I was a huge Chris Pratt fan before that. But after like his quick divorce from Anna Faris and then quick marriage to the governor's daughter, like I was just like, all right, who is this guy? But you know, shit, celebrities are freaking humans too. Like, you know, we don't know for sure. Like, you know, maybe this isn't an anti-LGBTQ church, and you know, maybe other things are going on. So I don't know. I've decided I'm not paid enough. I don't get paid to give a shit. So why give a shit?
Yeah, but if it turns out that just gonna play devil's advocate here, if it turns out that James Gunn is saying that just in order to help his movie, and it turns out that Chris Pratt actually, again, we're going to talk hypothetical here. If it turns out he's actually part of a very hateful church, and James Gunn either lied or was lied to by Chris Pratt, that would it change your view? Or because James Gunn is taking a very, from what I understand, a very, very strong stance. He's saying, you guys, this is fake news. This is not true. This is not true. And what you heard is not a thing. He didn't say, leave your judgment to we're not sure. He said flat out, it's a lie. It is not true.
You know, it's tough because like everyone who would ever watch this knows, like I'm more of a liberal. I don't think that's ever like that would be a surprise to anyone. But our fucking media is they're awful. They ramp up everything. They create stories. It's all about what can get the best ratings. So it's hard to believe, you know, any truth, whether it's, you know, Chris Pratt's truth, whether it's the fans' truth, whether it's James Gunn's truth. You don't know. And honestly, I think finding the truth is getting harder and harder, and people are just resorting to talking and, you know, making shit up and canceling people for no reason just to create more drama. Do some people deserve to be canceled?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely. But like Chris Brown should be canceled and just, you know, never shown again. He shouldn't show his face anymore. But there's so many people I feel who have been canceled that I don't think deserve it, and I think that it's going too far, too fast, and it's getting out of control.
What makes you think that I would tend to agree with you, but what would make you think that Chris Brown would need to be canceled for what he did? That I think it was something like at least 10 years ago, when James Gunn was canceled for a tweet he made 10 years ago, but now it's okay because it's in the past. Why is sometimes being in the past is fine and sometimes not? Is it the gravity of what happened, or?
I think the gravity. I think a tweet is one thing. Actually abusing someone is something else. I don't think those two things measure, no matter the distance. If someone beat the shit out of a kid 20 years ago and now they're okay, no, I'm still going to say they're a pretty shitty person for doing that. But if they tweeted 20 years ago or 10 years ago and joked about something, no, It's not. It's not the same. Is it in bad taste? Absolutely, but not the same thing. And especially people are different. I made jokes all the time as a kid, that I thought were funny, but now I'm like, ooh, that's in bad taste. And when I was in high school, freaking dead baby jokes were the funniest thing in the world. All the different things that you could come up with. And now I'm like, oh my God, those were awful. Just awful. It's because your humor changes as you grow as a person. And what someone tweets about 10 years ago during a different era, it's fucking stupid. Comedy changes, the way people act changes.
So different is that with Chris Pratt, I think it should be possible pretty easily to find out actually what this church believes in. So if James Gunn comes out and categorically said it's not true, maybe something there. Otherwise, something that's easy as that to find, he's gonna get called out instantly, right?
I'm not saying I completely I'm like, oh, I'm agreeing with James Gunn. I'm on his side. Chris Pratt's awesome. No, I'm just saying maybe it's time we slow our rolls a little bit and we just be like, all right, is what we are bitching and complaining about true? So I'm basically giving him the benefit of the doubt until the truth comes out. And
if
the truth comes out, if I hear a definitive one way or the other. But until then,
he's gonna make millions.
I've got too much going on in my life to worry about what a celebrity thinks.
Yeah.
If a celebrity doesn't like my lifestyle, I don't fucking care.
No, but at the same point, if a celebrity doesn't push for a certain lifestyle to be seen as wrong, it's going to impact a few people that are going to believe it. And these people, they are going to have a real impact on your life when they come to you and they shit on you, when they treat you badly because of your choice, because they've been influenced by a celebrity. So I'm not for, as you said, I agree with you with the old cancel thing, but when at the same time I see both sides, because when you're in a position of power or in a position of high exposure, you have that power on how people think. And if you bring things that are false, and we've seen it a lot in your in the last years, right, in the USA, a lot of people are gonna just believe it because somebody says it, and it's gonna have real impact on real people's lives. So I don't know. I don't know where to feel on this one.
Stop, people. Just stop treating celebrities like gods.
Yeah,
they're just flawed people like all of us. So, on to my last bit of news. So the first two were a little hard hitting, a little bit more political, I guess. The third one's not.
Oh,
third one is just interesting. Did you ever watch Avatar?
Yes,
the James Cameron
the
one?
movie.
Yeah, not The Last Airbender.
Not the anime. No, I watched the movie a long time ago when it came out.
Pocahontas in space.
Exactly. Thank you. I've been saying that forever, and people look at me weird. It's actually Pocahontas in space.
It's Pocahontas in space. Well, it was just announced earlier today, actually, that the original Avatar is going to be remastered and re-released in theaters later this year.
That was the movie that kicked up the 3D, right?
It was one of them. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I remember I watched it in 3D and I was like, this is horrible. I hate this. But that's not it. Avatar 2 has officially gotten a title and a release date. Do you want to know what the title is?
Yes, please.
Avatar: The Way of Water. Released in theaters near you, December 16th.
This year?
This year. So does that mean we're going to be able to see like a double feature? Like we're going to go see Avatar 1 and then Avatar 2 so we can stay at the theater for like 6 hours?
And buy more popcorns?
So much popcorn. They better have an intermission though, because I'm going to have to pee.
Bring a bottle. I see you drinking from a bottle right now. Bring a bottle. Okay.
It's not big enough.
I heard, I don't know if that's true again, that they were planning to do like 5 more Avatar movie.
They've been talking about that since the first one came out. I was reading it. So the Avatar 2 had an original release date of like 2011. It is now 2022. So in case you didn't know what year it was. And yeah, they were like always talking about, yeah, there's 5 Avatar movies coming out. That's what we got. We're filming all of these at the same time. And I'm just like, I don't care. Just they better be good. So I haven't watched that movie in probably like 10 years. So I'd be interested in watching it again in theaters.
Really? I know it's one of those movies that I'm glad I saw it. I liked it. I remember, I think I've rented it once from a blockbuster because at the time we still had Video Club, right? I remember watching it in my first apartment when I left my parents' home, and with my first big TV that I bought for myself, and I think that was the movie. And I remember saying to myself, okay, that's good, but it's not bad. It's not good. It's just forgettable. And I've never had the itch to watch it again. However, there was a Xbox game that came out for the movie, and that was terrible.
Oh, I was like, where's this going? Game of the year, game of the decade.
Nah.
I believe it. Most movie tie-in games are atrocious, except for one. There is one movie tie-in game that is above all the rest. Do you know what that is?
That'll be Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
No.
No.
It is X-Men Origins Wolverine. The movie was trash. The game, hella fun.
And I even like this movie. I don't know why. I like this movie when I'm not going to say it's a good movie, but I had fun watching it, and I saw everyone around me trashing it. I said, why? It's fun. It's a fun time. It's not a good movie. It's a fun time.
I agree. I've honestly liked all of the Wolverine movies as just like, yeah, they're fun to watch. You see Wolverine cut some people up. It's cool.
I've watched it a few times. Mm-hmm. And Deadpool, if you just live with the fact that it's not Deadpool, it's okay.
Yeah, you still have Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson. So yeah. So minus that last bit, this was the weekly nerdy news that I found interesting.